Hope everyone is enjoying their Ezio outfit in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. There might, by the way, still be time to get it if you don't have it yet, if you watch this video before March 24th. The game saw also a steep increase in players over the weekend, at least on Steam, hitting the 37,000 concurrent at one point, and that is more than half of what the game did at launch. So the free weekend totally seemed to help, and if you want a new Odyssey video, by the way, on things, let me know. I feel like I've covered everything already, but I'm totally open for suggestions in the comments. Either way, this video is about the new Assassin's Creed, because now that more people are playing Odyssey, more people are getting hyped up for this new game. It's a Viking game that seems to be planned for the end of this year, and yes, I say planned because you never know what will happen thanks to the current situation that we're of course all in. So I want to discuss that, and also the fact that the Lost Kingdom actor is likely doing motion capture for this game, or actually did, and how we will get to see this new game for the first time. So let's get into it. A like on the video would be super appreciated, and let's go. First up, by the way, a quick reminder that there is still time to enter my March giveaway for a 2020 game of your choice on your platform of choice. All you need to do is follow the link in the pinned comment for a chance to win. Be sure you are a subscriber of the channel before you enter. And good luck! I will reach out to the winner on April 1st. No joke. Remember that actor Magnus Brun? He plays Canute in The Lost Kingdom, a TV show that I still need to watch, by the way. But I did get to the end of season 4 of Vikings, and I can totally recommend that one, as I mentioned already before in a previous video. It does get worse over time though, like the first 3 seasons are really good, and after that it kinda goes on. But it does make you hyped for the setting for the next Assassin's Creed. At least that was the case for me. So the Lost Kingdom is next on the list, and Magnus Brun was already spotted in Montreal last year for days of meetings, after which he started following Ashraf Ismail, of course the director of Assassin's Creed Origins and Black Flag, and also Darby, the narrative director at Ubisoft Montreal, who's also likely working on this Viking game. So this kind of once again confirmed that Viking rumor, like what would this big Viking guy otherwise do at Ubisoft Montreal, right? Well, Magnus went to Montreal again earlier this month, before everything got crazy. He luckily got back to Denmark in time, so that's great news, but yeah, he was at the studio again, as we see in his interaction with Mary Lee Maynard, who asked if he passed by Montreal in the end. He replied saying, "I did, just before it all went to shit. Missed you at the studio," very likely referring to the Ubisoft Montreal studio, because after some digging I found out that Mary Lee Maynard is currently working as a freelance props master at Ubisoft for motion capture. And a props master is making sure that the set for whatever they are shooting is ready by buying things and placing them in the right location. Sure, this might be different for motion capture a little bit, but this does of course make it extremely likely that he already did some motion capture for the game, or that they're still going to do it for marketing purposes. Overall, I would not be surprised if the whole marketing campaign for the next Assassin's Creed is in flux right now because of what is going on. Magnus visiting the studio was after Ubisoft announced their new E3 plans. The biggest gaming convention in June was of course cancelled, but Ubisoft immediately came out and said that they are exploring other options for a digital experience that will allow us to share all the exciting news we have planned. Stay tuned for more. And yeah, I bet you that the new Assassin's Creed is very likely part of this exciting news that they have planned. I mean, that would be very exciting indeed. And maybe Magnus was going to be one of the presenters to promote the game, like John Bernthal did last year for Ghost Recon Breakpoint at E3. I'm super curious how this Ubisoft digital experience will shake out. I'm not even sure if Ubisoft knows it at this point. Last year on March 27th, they announced their E3 2019 experience. I don't think that we will have the same announcement this year on March 27th, but I would love to be wrong. Like, I really am curious what they will do. But it's just overall not really known what E3 will be without the big convention. The ESA, the organizers of the show, already said that they are exploring options with our members to coordinate an online experience to showcase industry announcements and news in June 2020. So there's likely still a week of gaming celebration coming where every publisher will do their own show, and maybe this time it's spread over more days. But yeah, I would not be surprised if the new Assassin's Creed was announced before before E3. Ubisoft always likes to announce one of their upcoming games before E3 and then go more in depth on it during that show. Last year we saw that with Ghost Recon Breakpoint. That one was announced during a digital presentation, and I would not be surprised if Ubisoft did the same for the next Assassin's Creed. During this presentation, people involved in the development of Breakpoint would be talking about the features in a really awesome looking studio setting. Sure, it's pretty interesting to look at this stream now and the game that we got back in October.
Breakpoint is bigger and better than anything we've done before.
I mean, it was bigger for sure, but that's not always a good thing. Either way, I did like the setting of the stream. The production value was pretty high and they prepared a ton of assets for the things that they were talking about, and also had multiple trailers, including an awesome cinematic. And fingers crossed that we get a cinematic again for this new Viking Assassin's Creed. The lack of one for Odyssey was pretty sad. They instead went with some live action advertisement that I did not hate or anything, but they do not come close to an awesome CGI trailer, of course. Origins had one, and now maybe because this game is also being developed by Ubisoft Montreal, we might see the return of the cinematic trailer. I mean, Ubisoft is saving a ton of money by not going to E3, not paying for that booth, and also not like doing a show in the Orpheum Theater, so why not spend that money on an awesome CGI trailer? Fun fact, by the way, is that the marketing budget for Breakpoint was higher than for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Ubisoft confirmed this on their financial call. And this reveal stream was the best part of that rollout in my opinion. So this might be what we see for an Assassin's Creed reveal as well. Especially now that physical events are not really possible anymore for the foreseeable future. They also had a Q&A session after this stream. Hopefully we see that for the next Assassin's Creed as well when it gets revealed. Although that's of course not really a multiplayer live service game. They will totally go harder on the DLC for this new game compared to Odyssey and Origins though. And we talked before on the channel about how Ubisoft has 5 big AAA games planned that they want to release before April 2021, so through March 2021. One of those games is very likely the new Far Cry that is coming early 2021, and then they also have another unannounced game slated for the fall of this year. But yeah, the question now is, with everyone at Ubisoft working from home, are these release dates realistic? Ubisoft already released a statement about the current situation, and also Ubisoft Montreal took it to Twitter to say that all our employees are asked to work from home for an indeterminate period. Great that they are communicating about this and of course implementing these measures. Safety is the most important, and you would think that this also has an impact on their upcoming games, right? Like the new Assassin's Creed. I can imagine that working on a game from home will be much slower because of the tools that you maybe don't have at home but that are required. The communication will be much slower than simply going to someone's desk, and maybe your internet at home takes really long to download a new build or other files that you need. 3 years for a massive game like Assassin's Creed is already not a lot compared to other big open world games, and if the final months are not going as planned, then it might get even more complicated. And this of course applies to every big AAA game and even the next gen consoles that right now are still slated for holiday 2020. But yeah, maybe that will also not happen. It makes a ton of sense that Ubisoft wants to have this new Assassin's Creed game ready at the launch of those consoles, like we saw with Black Flag in 2014 as well, but this situation is beyond everyone's control, so it might be that for the first time a big Assassin's Creed game will not launch at the end of this year. It's of course really hard to say right now. It seems that we're still at the start of this pandemic and who knows how long it will last. But game delays seem to be inevitable, something I might actually do a bigger video on later. And I totally applaud Ubisoft for letting everyone work at home, and if this impacts the release date of any of their upcoming games, then that's totally fine of course, but it's a realistic situation that we should keep in mind. I hope that the new Assassin's Creed will of course still launch on the planned release date, but if they need more time to finish it up, then it's of course fine with me too. It will be interesting to see how Ubisoft will plan their comeback in the next few months, because they are very silent right now about their upcoming games, something that cannot last that long. And even if the game got moved, I still hope that they announce it in that breakpoint window, so that early May or otherwise during that E3 week. When we know more, of course, I will let you know here on the channel, so totally subscribe for everything on the new Assassin's Creed. And again, if you have Odyssey video tips, drop them down below. Like this video to support the channel, and totally check out my previous video on how no E3 will have a big impact on the gaming industry as a whole. Stay safe for now, and I will speak to you next time. Goodbye.